Get a £5 free bet every week with Offer Club from William Hill. Simply stake a total of £20 or more across the week on pre-match football accumulators with 4 or more selections, and you'll get a £5 free bet on the Friday. Join William Hill Offer Club on mobile or online now.
This is KUGAN CASSIUS Rifle TV in association with Macklin's Gym Marbella. We're in Southend at the TSG Gym here. With me, I'm joined by trainer and the owner of this gym, BURZOTTA, and also BAMMA fighter, GAHADZA. Have I pronounced that right,
yes,
Walter?
Sir. Yeah.
Good pronunciation?
Yeah, perfect.
Definitely. First of all, Dan, thank you for letting me in your gym today. I've seen it a lot on social media, and you've got a good setup here.
Yeah. We've been here a few years now, so you know it's one of the first gyms, MMA gyms in the area.
Obviously, listen to people that come and train in this gym. So it's quite intense, and you really do put them through their paces. All the boys at all different levels.
Yeah, I mean we have a reputation here. You know, a lot it's like under sink or swim. You know, a lot of the guys come here. They start. Some of them stay, some of them go. But it's a real deal, you know.
Now, Walter, you're obviously fighting in Dublin on the BAMMA show on the 16th, I believe.
16th of December, yeah.
Of December, which is not too far away. So, how's camp gone leading up to that fight?
Camp's gone great. Everything's working the right way. You know, like dieting from the intensity as well. Everything's just perfect. I've been away, been traveling to a few places. I've been to Brazilians in America, and yeah, everything's been good.
Tell us a little bit about your background in MMA, how you started, where you started.
I never actually had a background. I used to sprint, so I've always been, you know, athletic and stayed sharp and fit. But I've never done anything combat-wise before that. A lot of people start with wrestling or boxing or karate backgrounds, but I was never lucky to have that. But you know, having a good coach like him just started for me from scratch, and I'm up to where I am now.
What was it that wanted you to come into the octagon? What was it that inspired you to do this?
For me, it was you know, it's not something I took seriously. It was just an opportunity. My friend gave to me. He said to me, "Come down." You know, my friend John House. He told me to come down, and came down the gym and had a heavy first spar.
Came on a Wednesday night. You know, as a pro sparring class, all the pro fighters.
So I couldn't have come on a better day, and yeah.
He came in there, what we call initiation night. You know?
Really, what? Tell us about initiation night.
I don't want to go too much into the initiation, but the people know.
Basically, I always say to people, you know, normally people phone me up and they say, what days you do such and such, jiu-jitsu, you know, striking, and we'll say, you know, on these days, on a Wednesday, if you come along, it's mainly for the pro fighters, so we don't do really any teaching. You kind of warm up, you know, a bit of shadow boxing, and you get stuck in. So he came with a friend of mine and came along, and I said, oh, he's done a bit of training, and when you do realise it's a Wednesday, yeah, no problem. So, and then he had a very hard session, I mean, really, really hard, and that kind of thing shocked him a bit, and it was like, you know, after that, he was kind of hooked, you know. It was painful. We won't go too much into detail.
Yeah, I've never been tested like that.
Like that, you know, and you know, after that, he's kind of, you know, we had a chat.
I came back the week after that.
The week after, you know, because obviously we realised that, you know, he was a flexism, and you can tell. I think I've been doing this for now 29 years, and I knew that he had the potential, even by session, you know, that he kept going, and he was, you know, it was athletic. Got a lot of natural athleticism, and he can kind of you know, weather the storm, so to speak.
So what? You didn't come away from that day thinking, "Fuck this ain't for me."
No, I mean, you know, obviously my pride was beaten. That's the first time something like that's ever happened to me. You know, have another man or men test me.
They call me Highlander.
Yeah, the
intensity.
Yeah, the intensity.
I took his soul and I still have it.
Yeah,
it's in a box.
Yeah, for that week, you know, the intensity was a hard intensity, you know, and coming from, I'd never had the experience of combat sport, and that was the first time. So, you know, the week after that, I thought, you know what, let me just test it again, and the rest is, you know, it's history.
So you're up against Nathan Bag and Tag Jones, I believe his name is, on the 16th.
Yeah.
Excuse my knowledge of the MMA and BAMMA world, but talk to me a little bit about Nathan Jones.
I mean, I've seen him come through the local circuit. I think he used to fight for, was it
UCMMA, various shows. Yeah,
he used to fight for UCMMA, and seen him come up. And I won't say anything disrespectful about him because I'm not a disrespectful person, but it's two different levels, and there's a pecking order. So he's there, and I'm that much higher. And December 16, we'll see.
You say you're not a disrespectful person. You don't want to be disrespectful. This is a disrespectful channel. We love fighters slagging one another off and basically calling people out. But we respect what you just said there.
Yeah.
So, but obviously Dublin. I mean, talk to me about sort of the atmosphere that there's going to be. I've never been to a BAMMA show before, so tell me what sort of thing to expect there.
I made my BAMMA debut in May, and the atmosphere is amazing, electric. That's the first time I've fought on a big show like that. So I should think Dublin is going to be that much extra special. So, and we're looking forward to it.
Look, we're looking to make a statement, put it this way, you know, we've kind of sort of, it's taken us a while to get there for one reason or another, but now it's his time, now it's time to, you know, show the world, you know, what Walter's about, what TSG is about, you know.
So, I mean, within your stable, I mean, how highly do you rate Walter? How good is he in your opinion?
We've been going around for a long time, so we've got quite a lot of fighters in here. From heavyweights to you know, middleweights, all different weight divisions, and you know, in the welterweight division, you know, is probably number one. And yeah, you know, it is what it is.
So I mean, long time. You're 16 and 0.
16 now. Yeah.
16 and 0 now. If you could place yourself somewhere, say in 2 years' time, where would you be?
The aim is to go to a big promotion, and whoever's paying the best money. Because we're not doing this for, you know, for a little bit of credit. We're doing it for the money as well. Everyone wants to get paid, so we both want that check. So the big promotions with the good paychecks.
And the good fights, the fights that make sense to us, you know.
Absolutely. So, what are we talking about? Kind of a Bellator thing?
We've you know, BAMMA is doing the show, and Bellator is a joint show they're doing together. So you know, we could go to Bellator, we could go to UFC, whoever, you know, we're open to offers, we're open to talk. So whoever offers a big, you know, big check, big promotion.
At the moment, we're with BAMMA, so
yeah,
and BAMMA they're treat us well, and you know, they're a well-run promotion. So
we're happy to keep him busy, you know, as long as he's getting his fights, he's active. And you know, but we're looking to make a statement, like I said, you know, and just really show the world that, you know, obviously Walter will be number one in the world eventually.
We're kind of seeing obviously the emergence of MMA, UFC over the few years. It's huge in America now. It's kind of, you know, watch more than boxing is over there. I mean, how do you sort of compare to? I mean, I'm talking to you about this, Dan and Walter, because you know, we're a boxing channel, and you get your hardcore boxing fans that some sort of delve into both worlds, other people it's either one or the other. So, you know, how do you to sort of compare the sort of popularity and, you know, where they are at the moment, the two different things?
I think with, you know, with the difference with MMA is you have a much wider spectrum of fans, you know, from the kids, young kids, to older people, to all sorts, you know. I think with boxing you get the hardcore fans who follow the boxing. With MMA it's like, you know, I'll give you an example. McGregor fight, I was, you know, doing my shopping in the supermarket, and I saw this old boy talking about the McGregor fight at the weekend, you know. And so, you know, in popularity, obviously the MMA, as far as excitement goes, I think for people generally is more exciting because you have a much more variety. You know, obviously you can strike, you can wrestle, you can punch, you can do whatever you want. So you know, to people it's more appealing. You know, and that's why I think, you know, also the marketing, the way they do everything, you know, they build up to a fight and they're creating stars. So that's why I think that a lot of people find the sport a lot more exciting.
Walter, you a boxing fan at all?
Yeah, I like watching boxing. I mean, I like any form of combat sport, but yeah, I think MMA is catching up. It is definitely catching up to boxing. I think they're kind of going and I mean, even with the Conor McGregor and FLOYD MAYWEATHER speculation of a fight, I don't know if that's ever going to happen, but you know, it just shows how much hype's going around MMA and a lot of respect's coming up with it as well. So
yeah, I mean, we saw the news. I think it was yesterday or the day before that Conor McGregor has obtained his boxing license from the California State Commission.
yeah.
I don't know really whether that tells us a complete story that he's targeting specifically a Mayweather fight, but it's interesting times. Conor McGregor's at the pinnacle of UFC at the moment. He's the most talked about thing probably in sport. It's great to see, and an Irish boy as well. So, what do you make of him, Dan?
I personally, I'm a big Conor McGregor fan. I'm a fan of fighting. I think he's great for the sport, you know, because he, you know, like I said to you before, people are talking about him, you know, just general public are talking about him. So anything, I don't think there's anything, you know, there's no such thing as bad promotion or bad publicity, you know. So I think with him is you either love him or hate him, you know. There's people who hate him and there's people who love him. You know, like same with the Diaz brothers. You know, I'm a fan of both. I'm a fan of the Diaz. I'm a fan of McGregor. I think it just, you know, I'm a fan of, you know, even to be honest, even the press conference, I find them more exciting than the actual fights. You know, the banter and he's, you know, because he's quick, you know, and he's always rips into people. So,
who the fuck is that guy? Who the fuck is that
exactly,
guy?
You know, so how can you not be a fan?
Yeah.
You know, you know, and you can't deny his talent. He is talented. You know, he's got good stand up. He's good at what he does. You know.
Certainly. I mean, can you see that situation where Mayweather fights McGregor? I mean, it sounds mental just to say that them two names in the same sentence, but can you see in this sort of world we live in now that happening?
100%. I think, you know, I don't know what his next move is going to be in the UFC because he was talking, wanted to have like shares of the company or, you know, so I don't know what his next move is going to be. But I think once he's probably, you know, he's had his fights in the UFC, his MMA fights, I think, you know, him being a good businessman, I'm pretty sure that fight is going to happen. You know, it's going to happen.
Well, you believe that fight will happen?
It makes sense because it's a money fight as well. I mean, it's just, you know, people would like to see that fight. I mean, you know, who wouldn't?
Just the pure intrigue of it.
Exactly, and it's going to be good because you're going to have the MMA fans and you have the boxing fans, and it's going to be like, I know they obviously will be boxing, but they want to see how good really good boxing is, you know. So
is it as cut and shut as people think? If it's in this ring we're standing at the moment, McGregor, if it's in a boxing ring, it's Floyd. Is that cut and shut?
What if it's boxing? Or if
it's boxing, it's Floyd comes out on top of that, and if it's in here,
if it's in here, I mean, Floyd won't last 10 seconds. You know, and with boxing, I think obviously Floyd's going to have the advantage, but I still think he'll give him a good fight.
Floyd's a wizard. He's a boxing wizard, and McGregor's is the man.
He's the man at the moment. You know? Everything has an era. You know, at the moment it's a McGregor era. You know, and if they were to fight MMA, obviously, you know, there's no chance for Mayweather. But if they're fighting boxing, I still think. Who knows? McGregor could get a lucky punch, you know, could still knock him out. You don't know, do you? You know?
I mean, it sounds a crazy thing just to sort of, if the fight even come off, let alone what would happen in the ring. I think people like to speculate on what they think would happen, but it's crazy to think that could happen.
I'll tell you, I mean, there won't be a person, I reckon, if that fight was pulled off, you wouldn't see a single person in the street. Everyone would be glued to their TV, you know? Whether you're a boxing fan, a main fan, or just a fight fan in general.
As ludicrous as the fight sounds, I mean, who doesn't want to see that? As Dan said, everyone will want to see it because it's, you know, it's just an interesting fight.
From the fan perspective, and also for both of them because it's, you know, they're both, you know, it's a good financial, you know,
unbelievable payday.
Unbelievable payday for both, you know.
Yeah, it's all about the money,
and they both love the money. So,
and I think the people that were if they were sceptical and were slagging it off, they'd still watch it anyway.
Exactly, yeah. Right. Whether you're a fan or whether you're a hater, you're going to watch it.
Definitely. Well, listen, before that, you've got Nathan Jones, so...
Bag and tag, yeah.
We have to think about that. So when do you go out to Dublin?
We
the week of the fight?
We fly out to Dublin week of the fight, and you know, just get a feel of it and just get ready. And
get familiar with the surrounding. We always like to get there. You know, it's kind of a good few days before the fight. Relax a bit.
Cut
obviously
the last bit away.
And
And just
Showtime.
And, just show everyone. You know, we've been quiet and humble, and we don't really do a lot of trash talking, and we do the talking in here in the cage, and that's where it begins and ends. Really.
Trash talking's good though. It sells.
It sells. We talk with this.
Fair enough. I'm not going to argue with that, Walter. I'm not going to argue with that, mate. All right. Well, listen. I've been actually meaning to ask you, Dan, specifically. I'm intrigued by this term I've been accustomed to over the last few weeks. The gypsy lock. What is that? Can you explain to me what that is?
We can't let the secret.
Come on.
Can't let the secret.
Our friend Billy Lee he won't tell me what it is. He said if Dan wants to tell you,
listen, I've sworn to secrecy. I know the gypsy lock inside out, and I know the counter, but he's made me promise him not to teach anyone the counter. So
Oh, I'll tell you what. I'll do you a deal. You tell me what it is. I'll let you film it. You can do it on me. Nah. Wait, that's a good offer. That is. You can perform that on me now, and we'll film it.
The gypsy lock. What you want me to do it, or do you want the master to do it?
I definitely don't want him to do it. Actually, I definitely don't want you to do it either. So, all right. Well, the gypsy lock can stay
secret. That's a secret weapon.
Is it?
Secret weapon. Yeah. Nobody knows about this lock. You want to bring it out in extreme circumstances. Desperate measures. I've seen that gypsy lock. It's called something else where I live. All right. Well, just finally, Dan, just a quick word on your gym. Who we need to look out from here, and who's kind of your top people here? Top guys. We have obviously Walter's one of the top ones. We also have Stava Kanoma, the Crazy Bear. He's been around for years. He's fighting on a next show, UWC, 25th of March. He's going to be a main event, and he'll be fighting a number one in Italy. He's one to look at. He's up. He's
Toby.
kind of. Toby Foster, again, young guy, full of talent. He won his fight on Sunday. Cameron Stewart, again, young talent coming through. There's a lot of young guys just need the experience. They're getting there, hungry for it. They're dedicated. And they enjoy it. I think the most important part of this game is, for some people, it's a business, but you have to enjoy what you do. If you don't enjoy what you do, it becomes a chore. And a lot of these young guys are up and coming, and it's a new generation. They're just getting there and they're beating their head out each other, and they come out there, battered and bruised, and they've got a massive smile on their face. So, like I said, there's a good few guys that you'll be seeing in the near future, for definite.
Obviously, people from where I live will be interested to know how a certain Mr. Wayne Reagan is getting on. He's got a fight coming up next year, I believe. So, how's he been getting on? Yeah,
Wayne again. He's fighting on the 20th of March as well. He's starting his camp a few weeks ago. I can tell you he's putting the work in. I mean, and the sick bucket over there, every session it's been full. He has to empty it every time, every session. So he's definitely putting the work in, and he's hungry for it, and he's giving it kind of a focus and something to focus on, and he's also he's kind of he's got a lot fitter. It's changing him, the actual training, the dedication, the commitment. It becomes like a part of your life, I'll be honest with you, I didn't think he'd stick with it. I thought we'd last a week, and it's been nearly 3.5 weeks now, and he's putting in the graft,
It's good to hear. Yeah. Well, we'll look forward to his fight in March, I believe. So, I mean, just looking at me now, you've never met me before. What do you think you can do with me? You don't know about my MMA Sri Lankan background, but what do you think you can do?
I'll tell you something. They call me. I am the Paul Daniels of MMA.
Yeah.
I can work magic. I can turn you into a machine, whatever you want. Come down here. They said, come down here and train.
Wednesday is good.
Wednesday's a good session to start off.
Listen, from what I've heard about this gym, you couldn't pay me enough money to come and train in this gym without leaving intact. So. That's a compliment to you, by the way, but for a cameraman like me who just likes to watch things like this, I don't think it's a good idea.
Wednesday night, we call it the baptism of fire.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, what do I do Wednesdays? I do something else. I do something else somewhere else. But, all right, well, listen, Dan, Walter, thank you very much for talking to IFL TV. Like I said, this goes out predominantly to a boxing audience, but it's good to get a different perspective into combat sport, because a lot of people that watch our stuff, they are fans of MMA and UFC, etc. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure. Thanks for coming down.
Thank you very much.
No problem. Best of luck with your fight, Walter, and hopefully, like I said, we'll catch up with you when you're back from Dublin, hopefully with that win. So
yeah, for sure.
Oos.